All right.
Craig.
What's up, Craig? All right. Before we even start, I'm gonna unload you guys the type of week I have had. All right.
Okay.
So earlier this week there was this rumor that someone on the campus here in Stevens Point had killed themselves, right? Then
That's a weird rumor, but yeah.
I know, but like there was an ambulance, like they were taking away everything, and people were making jokes about it. And then like 2 hours later, it turns out she's just allergic to peanuts and ate a peanut.
Huh.
Right? I know, it's weird. That same night, I'm walking over to my girlfriend's dorm, right? And on the ground, I see like this disgusting pool of blood and like a skinned mouse.
What the fuck?
I know. And like it couldn't have been an animal because like it's disgusting, but like the meat was still there. It was just the skin.
That is you.
So I think there's a sociopath here.
Yeah, you have a serial killer.
Yeah, most likely.
Unlucky, man.
I know. And then finally on good old 420, someone tried to jump off a building. I don't know if that was a suicide attempt or if the dude was just tripping.
Just a silly goofer.
Yeah, he was just being a little bit goofy.
It's
been a crazy week.
That's exciting. Exciting week.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Spectated. I'm Harley. I'm here with Tyler and
yo.
Good old CrashX101. How you doing, Crash?
Good. Happy to be here.
All right. We got you here to be our good old specialist for our first subject of the day, being our Sonic 2 thoughts. I'll go
Resident
ahead.
Expert Crash.
Resident Expert Crash. I'm going to go ahead and throw to the disclaimer that there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie and you're interested in watching it, don't listen until you've watched it. So
correct.
Let's go ahead and jump in. I'll go ahead and just give a brief little rundown, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
First off, this is a kids movie, right? So like,
yeah,
you can't go expecting like the Batman level of cinematography or thoughtfulness behind it or anything. And that's exactly what this movie was. It was dumb fun with like just a lot of references to like memes for, adults and teenagers and stuff. And a lot of references to games for, people who played the original games and are fans of them. Idris Elba, I think, grew on me to be the same quality performance that I think of Jim Carrey as Robotnik. I think his voice fit perfectly, and I just loved everything they did with him. Instead of making him just completely stupid, they made him just kind of socially inept. I would rank it a 7 out of 10 because it had plot issues, but like the characters make it really forgivable. And again, with it being a kids movie, you can't really expect, the Batman or Django level, the writing or anything. But the movie was also enhanced by the kids behind us, Tyler. When we went to see it, or that kid behind us.
Very true.
Behind us, everything that would happen, like everything that happened in the movie, like the cafe's closed, and they're going, "I told you it would be closed."
That kid was actually a genius. We ran into a fortune teller.
He can actually predict the future. All right.
What a little legend.
I know, it's crazy. All right, Crash. I'm interested in what your thoughts on the movie are.
Yeah, so I have to agree with you immediately on the cast. I was very happy with everyone. They brought back Tails' original voice actor, Colleen. She did fantastic here as usual. Knuckles was great. And they had a lot to, this is like 2 brand new animal characters they had to like really quickly bring in and integrate in the span of one movie. And I think they did a good job developing both over the course of the movie, given what they had to work with here. especially since they had to obviously keep up with the human characters as well. Like you said, this does create like some weird pacing and timing and story issues. And that I think that's some of the biggest criticism I've heard, and I could definitely relate to that. There were some parts that dragged on a bit, especially for a 2-hour kids movie. But I also have to say some of these kid jokes were just a little too kiddie. But those are like my main complaints. Like, they really didn't need to bring back things like the flossing,
Jim Carrey flossing, whatnot. Baby.
Yeah,
okay, I really hope that peak, actually.
If you can't floss, you'll be lost without me.
Please don't make it a trend and have like Shadow do it in the third one. Oh, whoops! Spoilers.
No, Shadow voiced by Keanu Reeves and he flosses.
Oh, that's what we need. Oh wait, Crash, what's your rating out of 10?
Yeah, that's a gosh, I think an 8. It was definitely better than the first movie to me. Maybe 8.5. I actually was really happy with it.
All right, Tyler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say I'll take it away. I just off the bat, I'm gonna say it's like a 6.5. I think to me it wasn't as good as the first movie, but that was mainly just because I didn't like the plot. I like, you know, obviously there's plot issues or whatever, but the characters were better, I do think, in this movie. Idris Elba was like great. I liked his character a lot. I liked, the Tails voice actor. Like that, it just felt nostalgic, even though I'm not even a big Sonic fan. Like it felt nostalgic, and that I like that a lot. Other than Tails' character, kind of sussy, bro. He was stalking Sonic. Like, what a weirdo. Kind of silly.
True. That is true.
But I would give it like a 6.5. I thought the first movie, just the overall story, I was more invested in, with like, you know, Sonic being like a refugee and stuff. Like I thought it was cooler and a more developed story. But this movie was great. But it definitely felt like the story was just kind of lacking and just kind of more random.
So you're
happenstance, but the characters were really good.
So you're more of a fan of the sponge out of water, like Outcast type of story, like doesn't fit in, than what they were going for here, where he fits in more and he gets a crowd that, you know, he matches with.
Sure. I just preferred that in the first movie, not even just the Outcast thing, but I just thought the plot like worked better and was a lot more linear, right? It's like, oh, we have this outcast alien, this scientist wants to, you know, research him and harness his power. Like, it's just a very easy plot, and it's hard to like deviate from that. Where when you get like the second movie, it was kind of like an adventure plot, right? Or like a treasure map plot.
Yeah.
They don't really work too well because everything is just like happens to be chance, you know, like, oh, we have a map, or oh, I have this, you know, nifty gadget that can just solve world hunger or something.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a lot more like MacGuffins and stuff, which just kind of makes the plot like fall apart for me a little bit. But obviously it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
But it still like just made it not as good as the first to me, because the first was able to flow well, and then I thought the jokes were really good too.
Yeah, and then to go off of that real quick, and then I'll have another thing going off of something that Crash said. Tyler, what you said about like the plot being like a very much a treasure map thing, that's where I had some like plot issues, because like if these characters can run faster than like the speed of sound, can't these dudes just like find it before Robotnik, even if they get the map or whatever? Like
it's always just weird, like when like Sonic chooses to actually be fast, and when he just chooses to kind of like run at a quickened pace.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the moments in particular where they were in like the I guess tomb or whatever, like that area, and the statue started falling and blocked the exit. Why were they just running at a normal speed?
Yeah.
Well, he can run faster than the pace that's falling.
It's like Homeboy literally sprinted across the ocean and now he's just like kind of jogging.
A half hour later, he's sprinting across the ocean.
It's kind of weird, but it's like that's just a problem with like overpowered characters, right? Like, there's no way to actually make it fit. Whereas, you give somebody Sonic where it's like he's actually traveling basically light speed.
Yeah.
Like Homeboy's like just traveling faster than missiles and shit and like dodging them.
Yeah. And then
like way faster, and then it's just hard. You can't balance that.
Yeah. My second thing going off of Crash, what you said about them making not one but two of these new characters fit in and doing it well. I think I agree with you completely. I think both of these characters fit very well in the universe, but other than Tails being a little bit suspicious, the way he treats Sonic.
Homeboy is kind of weird.
The way he treated Sonic was a little suspicious.
Yeah, we kind of accept Tails like that by now.
Oh yeah,
100%. Wait, hold up, real quick. What is like Tails' original thing? Is he just a Sonic fanboy, or what's his like real story?
Yeah, it's kind of close to. It's kind of close to this. So in like originally, I think like Tails finds Sonic's plane, and like he's like a really engineer type guy. So he was kind of gawking at it, and Sonic kind of didn't really care and ran off. But Tails was able to keep up with him because of his little propellers, his tails acting as a propeller, and Sonic was impressed with that. So they that's why they kind of hung out. But yeah, Tails kind of started as like a bit fanboy-y there too.
But Knuckles is the G. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
Knuckles clean.
The way they I think they got them both to fit in is that they hardcore just pushed the human characters to the side. They were like, all right, you guys were needed to introduce Sonic. We don't really need you anymore because now we got the thing here.
No, yeah, actually something I was thinking is that was like really good about this movie that I'm glad they did is it's not like a movie like the recent Godzillas where 90% of the movie is some stupid human plot and then like 5 to 10% of the movie is Godzilla beating the shit out of monsters, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's there for the 90% human shit. Nobody is there for that. Everybody's there for Godzilla
Kong.
smacking some boy. Yeah. But it's like, nobody cares about these humans. And I feel like it's the same with Sonic. Like, we got Donut Lord, he's and then obviously Dr. Robotnik, but that's, like meant to be. He's not like just a random character. Like he's an actual like in-universe character. But yeah, I mean literally almost the entirety of the movie had, either Sonic or Knuckles, Tails, or Robotnik in it. And those are all like, the main characters.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very impressive, for like a full CGI movie. And I thought that was a good thing of the first one too, is that like it's actually, and even better in the second one, is it actually focuses on, people are there to watch Sonic and Sonic characters. Nobody cares about these random side characters and their little disputes and subplots. Which I want to touch back on later of a plot thing I really didn't like.
I agree. The actor that plays the good old Donut Lord, I like him, and I think he plays the part well. Mm-hmm. But good Lord, that wedding segment just halted the movie.
That's what I was about to talk about. I was
like, can we move on from this, please?
No, that's when I was saying like I didn't like the plot. Like a lot of it, like that entire like 30-minute like section or whatever, 20-30-minute section easily dropped like half a point to a point off the rating because like I just did not care about like the sister-in-law subplot because it just focused on that random like that human aspect, has nothing to do with Sonic or like the main thing, and then they tried to just turn it into like, oh, it was like a fake wedding or whatever, and that didn't really even mean that much. It's just like they kind of like tried to shoehorn in a random like human subplot element to impact the story, and I just didn't really care or like it that much.
I think they could have made it so much shorter by just being like, these two want to, instead of going to a wedding, they just want to take a vacation, and then he has to throw a ring, and it's a wrong ring. It's his wedding ring because he's married, or and then him and his wife have to save Sonic and Tails rather than this whole extending this wedding, and then the two sisters have to save the two with Tails' technology.
Yeah, or even like I think it'd be cool if when Knuckles is realizing. I mean, it was a good scene when Knuckles realized, oh, Sonic's chill, but it could have been cool too if like the capture scene happened after that scene, like if they captured Sonic from the ocean, like the government, and then Knuckles went and saved him with Donut Lord and his wife or something. Like I feel like that would have been a really good character
that would have been
too.
very cool.
But it's like the whole wedding thing and the sister-in-law, it was a good chunk of the movie, and I didn't care about it, and I don't really think anybody cared about it because it's just they're just like these side characters, and we don't really care about
I do gotta
how they feel. You know what I mean? As bad as that sounds, like
I do gotta say though, my favorite scene of the movie does have them in it, but it's just the three, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and them playing baseball. I like the chemistry that all of them had together in that scene, and that's what made it my favorite scene. But the wedding segment, I hated. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on it, Crash.
Yeah, so just from a Sonic universe standpoint, obviously it did not, regardless, that was way too drawn out and it took way too long. It didn't have to be a wedding. I don't know why they chose the wedding thing, but the reason they wanted to introduce Gun, which is the organization from Sonic Adventure 2 that basically, like, that's what introduces Shadow, and it's kind of like I'm hoping Gun plays a role in the third movie to kind of justify why they did all this with the weird, like, quote unquote plot twist with the wedding, like, all being fake and all that, like, really weird nonsense. But yeah, so that was like the Gun organization and their concern of all this, of these aliens coming to their planet and wreaking havoc. Yeah, definitely super weird way to do it.
So,
but
all right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. Like, what I have to say with this movie is nothing was completely like worthless. Everything, like, in a lot of, like, another big complaint was like the bar scene, not the bar scene in Siberia, wherever the hell they were.
Yeah.
Like that, like, because that was there to develop Tails. It was also another like weird scene that probably didn't really need to be there, but yeah, at least every scene had a purpose to my knowledge in terms of like the story stuff. But yeah, that the writing one definitely went on just way too long.
Yeah. What I'm hearing about Gun is basically I'm hearing from you that Sonic 3 is going to have Shadow with a Glock with a star-shaped alien helping him out while he's just absolutely murdering soldiers. And the president looks at a picture of Sonic and Shadow and goes, "Where are you?"
I guess that's something that we can just jump into right now. The end of the movie, the after credits Shadow scene. What wasn't Shadow? What was he? Is he Dr. Robotnik's like thing? Like, I'm
pretty sure he's just a government experiment to replicate Sonic.
Yeah, so no, okay. If they're going off Sonic Adventure 2, this is the story that game posed. Basically, Robotnik's, it was father or grandfather, but basically it's Gerald Robotnik was his name. So yeah, there's father or grandfather came up with the idea of creating the ultimate life form in hopes to prevent, like, to keep Earth safe from aliens, essentially. And apparently the ultimate life form is a hedgehog.
Is Sonic.
Yeah.
Just black.
Yeah. And by the way, just as another like fun little canonical thing, the prototype ultimate life form is a giant lizard. So somewhere they found out that a giant lizard is not quite as good as a hedgehog. It's a really weird story, Sonic Adventure 2. Honestly, a lot of the Sonic stories are really silly when you tear them apart. But yeah, so that's like the story.
I thought it implied at the end of the movie that it was a Robotnik like facility they found or something.
Yeah, so his father.
Okay, I see.
If they're going with it, I really hope they do, because it doesn't sound like our Robotnik knew anything about this.
Don't you think that, I mean, hear me out, a Keanu Reeves voiced Shadow the Hedgehog going, "Where's that damn Chaos Emerald?"
Yes, that would be.
That would make the movie 10 out of 10 instantly. Or if they use the all the
And
memes of like 10 million memes of like those two running in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, where they're running side by side talking. They have to include that.
Unlike you blue-haired liberals, I don't have pronouns.
Oh yeah. Hey Shadow, what are your pronouns? I don't have.
You will refer to
pronouns.
me only by my name, Shadow the Hedgehog. I loved it.
I will say,
I love those. Those are so good.
His voice actor is gonna be like, they better pick well, because that's been a big controversy in the Sonic series, is Shadow's voice actor. A lot of people never liked anyone beyond the first person they had.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so good. He's so good. He fits like that perfect edgelord character. Like I need
people
I need my edgy Shadow.
Fighting for the guy who plays the Punisher in the like Daredevil Netflix series and in the Punisher Netflix show. They want him to be the voice. I'm like,
oh yeah.
John Berthenol, I think,
the guy from Walking Dead as well. Yeah,
I'm more of a Keanu Reeves would fit better, but
yeah, I don't like the Punisher. Punisher sounds like, more like a fucking doomer military guy, like type of voice, or like a douchey
the design
type of voice. Or like, yeah, you need somebody like edgier. Shadow's edgy, he's not some fucking jocked up military grovelly dude. Like he's an edgelord.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And I think Keanu would fit pretty well.
Suited for
It'd be cool.
And like the fact that Jim Carrey's most likely not going to be in it because he retired from acting is interesting.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad they left it ambiguous as to whether he's alive or not, because that really they did it. That was a great play on their end.
The way they did it, though, I found it a little questionable. Because like, really, just
it was kind of.
He goes, "Oh, really?" Like that's.
Yeah,
that is a Sonic 06 reference. I don't know if you guys got that, but basically,
greatest game of all time.
So in Sonic 06, I think it's the opening cutscene. Like Sonic does that to one of the robots. It was a reference to that.
Why didn't?
So that was a little.
Why didn't a human woman kiss Sonic then?
Don't give him ideas, please.
True.
That's another thing, Maria. I don't know if you guys know about Maria in Sonic Adventure 2, but like basically that story was pretty dark. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't Maria like die or something? And then
Maria died, and that was like Shadow's only like friend or whatever.
So then he became edgelord.
Yeah, he was like, I must destroy everybody. But and also the aliens. I really don't know if they're actually gonna have like the actual evil
some
aliens.
Type of like actual like alien invasion, and Sonic Shadow team up to defeat them. That's what I'm wondering, is like who do you think will be the bad guy then? Because like, obviously Shadow's going to be the quote unquote bad guy, like Knuckles is in the second movie, but who's like the actual bad guy? You know what I mean? Like I wonder if they're going to do an alien invasion.
Gun or alien invasion. I think they're going to go more towards the Shadow the Hedgehog. At least have a side plot like the game. Something like that. But yeah, because they're not going to do Robotnik.
I agree. I do think it's going to be Gun, because like an alien invasion, I don't know if they could if that would work well in a movie where like Gun. I feel like Gun would work a lot better. But
Villain is Big the Cat.
Oh,
that's another thing. This opens up the realm for all the modern characters now that Shadow's in this. I mean, Amy would probably be the next.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I think Amy needs to get in there. Rogue, another classic.
I want to hear. This is my gamer pad. Oh, we need Silver the Hedgehog, Sonic 4.
True.
I'm telling you.
Oh god,
it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Silver's a signature character now.
Time travel. Oh, that'd be.
They can't do it in this one.
I really wonder how. Yeah. I wonder how Tails and Knuckles will be also, especially Knuckles. One big problem with the Sonic franchise is that Shadow kind of like acted as a replacement for Knuckles, and in the series, Knuckles kind of just became a very like obscure, not even like referenced anymore character because of Shadow. So I hope Knuckles still gets some nice screen time, and Tails too.
I think they
But
would if
because like they're basically both like kind of rivals to
I feel like
Sonic.
they're
with Shadow as a
later.
villain.
I feel like they're going with the
With
team
Shadow as a
dynamic
villain
too.
for a majority of the movie, I feel like, at least for this one, it'd still have that trinity, and then it'd be a quartet, so to speak, towards the end in the third act.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. That was my favorite part of Sonic 2 was that moment where they're about to fight the Death Egg robot, and the three of them are like posed on like a rock or something together. Like
Yeah,
that was so cool to see.
It was
It was like a Sonic Heroes moment. Just insane to see that on the big screen.
I think that about
my
Goku
favorite was
Sonic.
Goku Sonic.
He drops a chili. He drops a
I love
chili
Goku
dog.
Sonic. That's hold up. One more thing, real quick, before we move on, is like, I bet you the Chaos Emerald. I bet you Shadow pulls up and steals the Chaos Emerald, and like that's like probably the whole plot line. Like Gun is probably like, we need that shit, you know.
You know, he just beats
like
the crap out of
it.
Sonic, gets the Chaos Emerald, and then dips.
Dude, and why does Sonic not stay God mode if he can control it? He should just perma stay God mode and summon infinite chili dogs.
Every day,
he would solve world hunger. Sonic could single-handedly solve world hunger, but instead he decides to keep it locked away. So Sonic is responsible for the deaths of every single human on Earth ever.
I mean,
they starve.
Go past that. Like, research, he could cure all diseases. And he's like, nah. I want chili dog on Knuckles' face, and then I'm done.
Yes, Sonic is the greatest villain of all time.
He's the real villain of the story.
Actually.
Yeah, Shadow
just wants everything.
Wants the emerald to, do things that actually matter. And that's why he's called the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when Knuckles rebuilt the emerald, it wasn't with the 7 Chaos Emeralds in it. The 7 Chaos Emeralds like went up into the sky or something and flew away. We don't even know where those are. But the Master Emerald, I guess, is in their possession.
I think that about covers everything for me. I thought it was a solid movie. It was enjoyable, but it was very dumb.
Yeah. I would still, recommend, if anybody's listening and haven't seen, I guess, if they haven't seen it, they shouldn't be listening. But it is a movie that I would recommend to people. Like, I think it's fun. It's just one of those movies you just turn off your brain and kind of enjoy. It'd be a really good background movie too. Like, it's just it's a nice kids movie. It's good. It's just it's not too deep. There's not much to it, but the characters are good. It's visually pleasing, and it's just fun to watch.
And if you're a Sonic fan, you will love the references. Mean Bean Cafe.
Oh yeah, the Mean Bean. Oh, I love that. As soon as I saw that, like right at the intro, I just started thinking of Crash and World Record.
Yeah, I was freaking out. All my friends I was watching with was like, "What the hell's Mean Bean?"
What? Fake
friends.
Fake.
All right, Crash. Do you have anything else to contribute before you dip on out of here?
I think that's it. That was I was happy with the movie. Excited for the next. I'm excited for. I'll be on this podcast someday for the Sonic
Bean
movie
and
3.
Sonic 3 0 out of 10. That's all I'm saying.
Correct.
Yeah. Well,
they have to. Now it's a series.
Bring it back.
All right. Well, thanks for.
All right. Thank you, Crash, resident Sonic expert.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure to be here, and you guys enjoy the rest of the episode as I will later on when I get to watch it.
All right, awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Peace.
All right.
What are we going straight into? What do you want to do?
USFL
Browns or USFL?
So we're gonna do a complete left turn. We're just doing a complete 180 from Sonic and going straight into football now. So, USFL.
Okay.
The United States Football League had its opening week. This week.
Mm-hmm.
And its first game had a 3 million viewer debut. And
do you know what that is in terms of to like a normal football game?
It's impressive considering it's not the NFL. I can say that. It is.
Sure. I was just wondering like what a Patriots game would bring in.
Most likely more than that. Because you think of two very popular NFL teams compared to two unknown USFL teams. But the entire week, in the span of 4 games, because there's only 8 teams, so 4 games, 26 million views.
Yeah,
that's an impressive really opening week for a much smaller league than the NFL.
Wait, this is funny. I'm looking at the standings right now, and so the 8 teams are broken in the North and South, 4 teams each division. Right now, the South, the South has won every game. Yeah, well, granted, they're gonna start, playing
Sunday,
each other.
I think, but the Breakers are playing the Bandits.
But the South got Matt. They're getting the Civil War revenge finally. Congrats,
they're winning. The South wins.
But no, I just thought like I wasn't even like aware that this was happening until like a month ago or so, and I thought initial thoughts that it's gonna flop, right? Or just not that it's gonna flop, but that it's just gonna be another one of those like sub leagues. Like what's that other one?
XFL,
it's like what XFL or something. There's like where it's just kind of like I think XFL still exists.
Nobody,
but it's just kind of like nobody ever talks about it. It's like a small thing. So I expected that to kind of be that. But I mean, that viewership's impressive. I still don't think it's ever going to be near the size
NFL
of
is a quadrillion
already out here
dynasty. It's
but I'm saying like I don't even think it'll hit the point of like hockey
probably
viewership in the US or something like an established league. But like a weird comparison I had in my head, right? Which is probably a really bad comparison, but I think fits this. Is that like the USFL to the NFL is like Rocket League to actual soccer, where it's never going to be as big. Like Rocket League is never going to be as big as actual soccer, but it's still like one of the biggest esports or whatever.
Yeah, but
and so like what I'm trying to say is like the USFL is like a derivative of the NFL
too.
But esports are not in exactly for right now, at least for traditional sports. And I think the USFL is like the same thing, where it's like I think it'll do well in these. I don't know what you call it, like lower tier of sport. Like I'd put it up there with like NBA G League or like other
minor leagues,
like where it's like not really the big league, but these sub leagues. I think it'll do well amongst those. Maybe even the most viewed. The G League is very viewed with the NBA, but I think this will be actually really successful in that. After hearing those numbers and like seeing the response.
The question for you then: do you think it's going to be popular enough to expand and get like a Chicago team, LA team?
I just give me 1 second. I want to see how many teams the XFL has. Let me see. They have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So
15,
like 4.
They have like 16 teams. I think they should expand. I mean, we'll have to see, right? Like, obviously, week 1 numbers are probably going to be a little bit inflated because it's new. So we need to see how it keeps up. But it does seem like it, just off first glance, that it's like, the viewers were good. I've heard a lot of talk around it, so I feel like there's still like a lot of interest around it. Just because, like, the technology is really cool, and they have like debatably better rules. Like, I'll let you take it away then. But like, it's crazy.
very unique camera technology. Like they have the traditional cameras that like similar to the NFL, like those camera angles and stuff, and the cameramen. But they also have like drones that follow the person who like runs the ball or who catches the ball. And on top of that, they have cameras in like receivers and quarterbacks' helmets. So you can see a first person catch or interception, which is very cool. And then
it's awesome. Yeah. Like
yeah,
all that first down technology too,
they
with like
put
all the
chips
sensors.
in the
So
football
cool.
to determine the first downs rather than just getting the chain and just seeing if it's, moving it over to see if it's there. I mean, these are things that I think the NFL is legitimately going to take in the near future and start using it as well. Because, like, it's smart.
No, like it's amazing. That's what I was trying to say. Like, I think the rules and the technology are like arguably just better than the NFL. The technology definitely, right? Like, it's giving us new viewpoints. Completely, they're trying to make it so the refs can't make bullshit calls anymore.
They do that.
Like who knows how many games have been, completely changed because a ref is not not very bright, not a very bright human being, and just made some terrible calls. So like it's really good that they're focusing on like the technology, because I think that's always been kind of an issue that up until recently couldn't be addressed. Like NFL refs, MLB refs, even like basketball refs, like have such an influence on the game. And all they could use is like, their eyesight or whatever. And they'd have to just make a call, and like, they don't know all the factors, right? Like they would think they're making a good call when it's actually a bad call because they don't see the other angle, So it's like, it seems like this is trying to make it so it's like the technology is making the call.
Yeah.
Which just makes it, I think, a lot more fair.
Like if a play is under review, they can literally now use the first person cameras on top of the additional cameras.
Yeah, and like that's going to show, a lot too. Like if it's like accidental, intentional, things like that, like with the first person, because you can obviously see somebody's body language a lot better when you're, looking through.
Do you have a team POV. You're rooting for?
I like the Maulers' name, so I'm gonna root for them. Like until there's like actually a Chicago team, or whatever. I think the Maulers are. That's just cool name.
They did release someone.
It's original
because they asked for pizza and not chicken salad, though, before their game, and then they got destroyed. True. I'm rooting for the Breakers because first of all, they had a really good defense. In their first game. Second of all, they are one of two teams that don't have the color red as one of their colors. Them and the Maulers, they both are the only teams that don't have red. It's very crazy. Like I don't understand.
And even the Maulers logo has some red in it. Or I guess it's like orangish
colors.
Yeah, it's orange purple. True. But even orange is, come on, like
we're
pushing it there,
blue and white look.
I
would
think
like to see the USFL expand and to have 5 divisions and have a central league with Chicago. Like have Chicago, have Milwaukee.
Yeah, it just, when you have an odd number of divisions, it gets weird. I think it would be really good if they went 4 divisions with 16 teams, because then it's just a straight like double the league, and they don't have to change like any way that it works, really. Like they can use all the existing.
It just would be complicated because like a Chicago and East team.
Yeah, they would just have to, or just put it in a North. Like if they moved one of the other teams, because the North has what does it have? Like
that is true.
Pittsburgh.
It'd
Like
definitely
Pittsburgh
be
could be an
team.
East team. Like there's a couple teams like Philadelphia East. Like there's New Jersey definitely East. Like there's teams that they can move around between North and East.
I'd like to see a California, Oregon, and Washington team. Yeah.
Seattle. Yeah. The one thing I guess is I don't like about the league that I don't know, like it may not be an issue because if they're just going for a purely spectator, like watching it sport, like in terms of like on TV and stuff, it could work. But like that, all the games are played in just the one stadium.
Really, I didn't notice
Alabama.
that.
I'm pretty sure I believe that all the games are going to be played in just one stadium. I'll double check it. Where are the USFL? I believe the entire season going to be played. Yes, the entire regular season will be played in Birmingham, Alabama, crazy. At one of two fields. I feel like one thing that's really, I do think it can work. Just from the aspect of it's a lot easier to manage everything because, travel is obviously a huge expense for teams, and building stadiums or having stadiums that are equipped to handle the USFL would be really tough. So, I understand why they do it, and, I don't know. The league would have to grow quite a bit before they could actually
it's a budget thing.
Expand into other cities, but then it also ruins... Yeah, but then it also ruins, even if there is your quote-unquote, there's a quote-unquote Chicago team, right? It's if they're not really from Chicago, then are they really a Chicago team? Or it's all these teams, it's they're quote-unquote, from Pittsburgh, from Philadelphia, but it's if they're always playing in Alabama,
here's the genius thing,
are they really
there's about to be an empty football stadium. The Bears are moving. You want a Chicago team?
Yeah,
if
true.
You keep up these numbers, there you go. There's your Chicago team with a North Division football stadium right there. And you can slowly expand with the stadiums. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or even if they had, if they can't get, a stadium for each team, even if they do expand to 4,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
4 divisions, have a stadium
Chicago
per
to
division.
Be a North team.
Just because it's
and
where it's not nearly. Yeah, and just have all the North teams. Yeah, all the North teams. They'll have their own. They can have their own practice things, but that's where all the games are played for the North teams. So that would cut down on travel a lot, especially when it's North versus North teams, because it's way shorter distance to go from Michigan to Chicago than California to Chicago.
Expand into 4 divisions, and then each division have a stadium until they have the budget for all teams to have one.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I was impressed with it. I'm really excited. I hope that maybe this can make the NFL better. I don't know how much they could actually adopt, but I'm excited. I hope the league is successful. Like I said, I don't think it's ever going to hold a candle to the NFL, but I do think it will be, and hope it will be successful in terms of the minor sports.
I think it has the capability to. But it will never hold a candle to the NFL.
Yep.
Speaking of the NFL, we got quite a bit of news.
Yes, sir.
Started their voluntary practices that their players could go to, and a lot of news has occurred across this for the good old Cleveland Browns. So I will give you a list of things.
Yes. Yeah, give me the rundown on the new.
We got Denzel Ward.
The new developments.
We have
I guess.
Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, and a former head coach making a very bold statement and starting some drama. So, which of the four you want to start with, Tyler?
I think, like we spent a lot of the last episode talking about this drama, so I think we just jump right in there.
Okay.
We can just close out with thoughts on the team progressing. So yeah, give me the rundown
the former
on the new
head coach
stuff.
The NFL is investigating the Cleveland Browns because of that said former head coach, claiming he was given incentives to lose in the 2016 and 2017 season. In 2016,
that's the season where they got like no wins, right?
In 2017, they went 0-16. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I could see it because it's very hard to get only one win, and it's even more hard to get no wins in a season.
Yeah, and it's like they were a bad team, but they're definitely not
exactly,
0 wins type of team. But like, I'm wondering what incentives. Is there any even like rumors about that?
There's
like
nothing to be said.
Who was giving him the incentives?
Is that they wanted early draft picks. But like even then, that's not like bribery or anything. So like, you're literally just in rebuild mode.
Yeah. There's obviously like match fixing, like in sports betting, but I feel like on that scale, it's very tough to do. Because I mean, you look at like the last time there was a big match fixing was like 1907 or whatever. Chicago White Sox, or I forgot they're called. Yeah, the Black Sox, but and that was like half the team was in on it. A lot of the huge. Yeah, they got busted. Half the team was in on it. A bunch of coaches, a bunch of really rich people were in on it, and like it got busted. So it's like if this was a match fixing thing, it would have to be way bigger than just a couple people and like the head coach.
And you would think
that they wouldn't be able to
sooner than
do that.
At least 5 years after the fact.
Yeah.
So like.
And that's what I'm wondering about. So the head coach just straight up said this, right?
Ago,
like. Yeah. That's what I'm wondering, though, is like, I mean, the only thing that would make sense is, for draft picks, I guess. But then, like, I'm wondering what, like, did they just offer to pay the coach more money to lose? And it's like, why hire that coach in the first place?
Even if it's true, it's going to be too late for the NFL to find anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, so much time has passed. A lot has changed in the Browns organization.
Since then, they've gone through 4 head coaches. So
yeah, like you said, undetectable.
Yeah, it's gonna make it.
Yeah,
it is.
That's really weird, though. Like I just was there anything that prompted him to say this, or was it just out of the blue
about anything?
That's what's like so weird is why did he wait this long to say something, Like what I'm wondering is what changed or what happened that makes him want to talk about it now.
I couldn't tell you, dude. My mind is drawing a blank. Other than like if they were repeatedly funding him and they paid it off or something like that. I don't know. Or if he's just mad.
Yeah,
is he just mad at the organization because now
for
they
keeping
have
quiet or something?
The type of team that they do.
Yeah, maybe he's salty. Maybe it's jealousy. Because I mean, it could be just complete nonsense.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good possibility. Yeah, that's really weird.
Another
that is weird.
Dramatic experience here. Different people, but still drama. When the Browns arrived at the training facility, good old new QB1 Deshaun Watson showed up on a snowy day, and Baker Mayfield was a no-show. He's not. He's done. He's done with the organization.
I feel like we expected that. No, like it's definitely like, it was like a Ben Simmons on the 76ers type of thing. Like, nobody wants him to play. Like, he's getting the team does obviously clearly.
Yeah,
screwed him over. Like, he has no reason to play. Like, he just collects his paycheck while
it was
sitting down.
expected, but
that is
like
completely fine.
Yeah, still hurts a little bit. It still kind of punched him in the gut. Another topic on Deshaun Watson, the civil trials won't happen until March 2023 at the earliest. He does, but that kind of
okay, so he gets a full season.
That kind of hurts a little bit too,
That's
because
really
like
good.
the Browns rearranged their deal, so out of $249 million, right, over 5 years, they only had to pay him $1 million this year in case he had to sit out. And then on top of that, this is going to be lingering over him the entire season. It's not going to be a let's get it over with. It's going to be sitting there. And so like now that is hurting the Browns because like let's say he has to sit out an entire season, they're going to have to pay him to like however much, like $53 million for the year still instead of the $1 million.
Yeah.
They got to pay big chunks of money
start paying the
for
big chunks.
him to sit at home because he can't play. And that is going to hurt.
Hey, they better get the win this year then.
Yeah. So it's such a weird situation to be in. It like what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, like from one end, the organization thought about the possibility that he would sit, so they're giving him like, oh, we'll just pay you a little bit now. But it's like, oh, okay, now it's, the next year. So I don't know if they can rearrange the contract or if there's any stipulations for that. Because, if the possibility does where he does have to sit out, then it's like they're screwed, right? Their budget is completely fucked. And they're not able to get a quarterback near that caliber. So it would be really bad. But on the bright side, right, is that now they have at least this year completely guaranteed to see if they're
exactly
what they're rebuilding, see if it pays off, right?
The sticky situation with his contract is just crazy because like he has a no trade clause too, so like they can't trade him if they decide we don't like him after the season. Okay, and unless he approves of the place he's being traded to, they can't do it. Yeah, it is. It is.
Dude got like such a nice contract.
I don't know how he did it, but he
finagled
a good contract. But speaking of high-paying contracts, the Browns re-signed their cornerback Denzel Ward to a 5-year, $100.5 million contract with $71 million fully guaranteed, making him the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
True.
Browns saw what the Rams did. They said, "Okay, all right, we can do that too."
He is a top
just spend as much money as possible to win.
And expanding on that, look at the positions that the Rams spent a lot of money on. They spent a ton of money on quarterback, cornerback, edge rush, and wide receiver, and general manager. Look at what the Browns are doing now. Deshaun Watson, quarterback. Myles Garrett, edge rush. Denzel Ward, cornerback. Amari Cooper, wide receiver. And then Andrew Berry's the general manager getting paid well to put this all together. And he made this all happen. They are doing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
they are doing the exact.
It's exciting. It really is.
They saw what the Rams did and are going for those roles. Whereas teams like the Bears are paying huge sums of money to a safety.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like they're
the
recognizing
game has
kind
changed.
of which roles have the biggest impact. I mean, for a long time, like a long time, like quarterbacks are always going to be obviously, the big role. But, there's a lot of times where like linebackers were kind of more big deals than they are now, it seems, in the modern league. Where now like corners are becoming the whatever quote unquote new linebackers. Or like I just remember, when I used to watch football regularly, like 10, 15 years ago, it was like linebackers were like the big name in defense, and now it seems like corner. Yeah. Urlacher. I can't remember the guy on the Steelers with the dreads or whatever. The really I forgot his name, but he was, really big name. Where now it does seem like more so like corners are the like main defense.
Yeah.
And even, I think wide receivers are always big, but it seems like there's a lot more focus on them instead of running backs, like a little bit more
edge rush
shifted towards
is
receiving
on defensive
passing
end
rather than
is
running.
turning into a very large paid defensive role as well. Because like Myles Garrett, J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, they all get big bucks.
Yeah, it seems like like they're the defense is like moving forward, right? Where you had people further back, you had your linebackers, safeties that were getting better contracts or bigger names. Where now everything's pushing
now
up.
the two
you have
roles
like
that are getting paid a lot
edge of the line
the
and
ones
corners,
who get
like
interceptions, who catch interceptions, and the ones who sack the quarterback.
Yep. And I think that evolves because the offense is focused more on passing and stuff a lot more. It seems like for a lot of teams is that you need teams that are just going to pressure the quarterback as fast as possible.
But this begs the
force
question:
them into
Nick
bad
Chubb
passes
and Kareem Hunt, two of the biggest names and stars of the Browns of the past few years. Nick Chubb, being a top tier running back, are they going to get big contracts? Because that's turning into a role that's not paid as much. And Nick Chubb is a huge name, so he's going to probably be expecting a big contract.
No, definitely a huge one. Is he still?
I
what's his
think
contract
they re-signed him. I'm guessing to a 4 or 5 year, so I'm guessing like 2024-ish, 2025-ish. I'm not sure. Here, I'll look into it, but
because like if he's already on contract, that that's good because he definitely would get that contract when he's more valuable. But then if he's ever coming up for re-signing, like then that's gonna come into an issue where it's like they're already the Browns have just spent a ridiculous sum of money. Where it's like, are they going to be able to keep that up and
I'm looking at it here in 2021
at running back, or
they signed
not worth it to
him
them
to a 3-year deal, so until about 2024, 2025.
Oh so he's got 2 more. But no, I definitely agree. Like that could be an issue in 2 years. It's like he's definitely going to want probably a bigger contract, right? If he's been this long with the Browns now at that point, especially, he's definitely going to want a huge contract.
They could franchise tag him to keep him for another year.
Issues with that.
But, then they won't get to franchise tag Kareem Hunt, or they won't get the franchise tag David Njoku or anyone else that they might potentially want to. Which, I mean, you'd rather have Nick Chubb than those two, but still, you don't want, if you can go without letting anyone go, you're going to want to. Yeah. So
it's definitely
these big contracts are going to be hugely beneficial now and most likely next year, other than the very crazy scenario that Deshaun Watson's in. But that's very out of the ordinary. So, but like, it's giving a lot of upsides now to for a lot of potential downsides in the future.
It's just, it's just going to be tough, right? Like, when you have these high budget teams, I just don't know how they can, if they're going to be able to keep all these players. I would think not, right?
Yeah,
like they're
they
going
already
to have to
had to let
choose pretty
quite
much,
a
like
few
you said,
people
the
go,
new
like,
or the old.
Jarvis Landry.
And
They had to let go J.C. Treader, one of the
yeah,
offensive linemen that they had. They had to let quite a few people go.
mhm. Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna. I mean, we'll see because if the Browns are finding more success with the newer team, then they might just say, like fuck it, like
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep on this route of keep signing new players, kind of let the old players just fall out when their contracts end, not re-sign
Yeah.
them to huge contracts and try to pick up new guys for cheaper and invest into their starters. But I mean, I think it all comes on to how they play in the next couple of years, right? Like they have a few years before some of these contracts are ending.
Yeah.
So we just got to see. I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm
me
excited
too.
to see what they do.
It'll
I hope
be
they have
interesting
a
considering how
good
loaded
year
the
this year.
AFC is. But hopefully this all pays off for them. Uh, just to move on to our next and final subject here.
Yep.
The MLB has been going on for a couple weeks now. Good old Major League Baseball. And I think it's gone on long enough that we can kind of get a good glimpse on what these teams are kind of like. Granted, there's 146-ish games in the season, so
Yep.
yeah, about yeah. So,
Yeah,
but you can still get a glimpse of these players,
or something, roughly.
So we're going to be talking about the Cubs and the Sox, and which one you prefer, and which one you have going farther in the league. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, you know that. Though I will throw, like obviously I'm going to be biased. Like I want the Cubs to win, but I do think the Sox are still a better team. They were really good last year, like very, very good. Kind of fell short in the playoffs, but I do think like overall they're going to be a better team. Though, like Suzuki on the Cubs is like amazing. I like that a lot. I wish they had some kind of like if they got some more big players again, or like I'm really sad of what the Cubs did, over the past like year and dropping a lot of the, their famous players. But I mean, Suzuki's really good. I'm glad he's on the team now, and I'm hopeful. I think the Cubs can do well, but I don't think they're gonna find near the same success as the White Sox will.
Speaking of Suzuki, he was named the National League Player of the Week. He has a .343 batting average, which I want to say the average batting average is about 250. I would say about 250.
It's like 300.
It might be. But like either or, he's above average.
I thought it was like .300.
Yeah. He
no,
is
you're right.
the
It's
first
like
immigrant player since 1920 to have 3+ home runs, 8+ RBIs, and 4 base on balls in the first 4 games. It's been over 100 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's exciting. He's a great player. Like it's been fun.
He's a great player,
watched,
and he's
like,
a personality player too.
Homeboy's kind of been slaying
he is incredibly funny. He's a funny and like charismatic guy. Other players that we can look at with them are Madrigal and Schwindel, who are both power hitters as well as Suzuki. But both are below the batting average. Madrigal's at .231 and Schwindel's at .245. But when they hit it, they can hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at least hitting the
Yeah,
wall, basically.
it's a homer. It's a homer. Yeah.
Their major problem is inconsistency with and their total payroll is $153 million.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cheap, like with what they're getting. Yeah, they're 6-7 right now, so
I feel like that's
they're
not
negative
that bad.
ratio. But the White Sox right now are 6-6, and they had a game postponed that they were probably going to lose anyway because they lost both the other games of the series, and one of them was 11-1 and was very ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the White Sox, that game against the Cleveland Guardians was postponed. Their star player is Josh Harrison, who's currently injured, and their shortstop, Tim Anderson, with a batting average of .333. Above average, really good hitter. But the problem is, their major problem is inconsistency as well. Exact same as the Cubs. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
but like
Chicago
the White Sox
and consistency
are
do not go well
traditionally a much smaller market team than the Cubs. Like, I'm pretty sure they're worth half as much as the Cubs are. But they are paying. It's still about the same.
I feel like
the Cubs are worth over $3 billion. And the White Sox are worth like 1.6 to 2 billion.
Yeah, I guess for a total like.
Yeah, and then
because Cubs
but the payroll goes way harder. White Sox is 193 million. So they're paying 40 million more to be in the exact same position that the Cubs are in.
Oh, yeah, they're paying.
So it's like,
yeah, that's
how
rough.
are you gonna feel about that? You know, how are you gonna go? I feel good about where we're at when one of our star players is out with an injury, and we're paying him big money, and our other one is, hitting the ball well, but we're still losing games 11-1.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, the White Sox are coming off of a better season. So that's probably also why they're paying more, just because in the past couple years they've been the better team for probably the past 2 or 3 years at least. So I'm guessing that's more so why their payroll's higher, right?
Yeah, and some of their players
are worth more because they're winning more. But it is also concerning that they're giving up such bad losses. The inconsistency problem, I guess, they touched on is concerning, right?
Yeah.
Like, you'd hope a team like this that has performed well can play, at least semi-consistently. Obviously, there's going to be bad stretches and good stretches, but, you'd hope that they would play consistency as well, and that, now that one of their big players is out, it's just it's going to put them up to a rocky start. And I believe they play the Cubs in about 2 weeks
all the dates
well for the Crosstown Classic.
Yeah.
I think it was
just a moment.
The start of May.
I'm also about to look up,
I believe, start of May.
Their wins and losses. They.
Yeah, I have all that pulled up. The White Sox are 6-6, and the Cubs are 6-7.
Yeah, but like some of these games, like they won against Detroit 10-1 in their third game, but they lost to them 5-4 in the first. So like tight games, but then they blew them out at the end and they won that series. Other games that they lost against Seattle 5-1 after they beat them in pretty tight games, 3-2 and 6-4. But then, look at Tampa Bay. In game 1, they won 3-2. In game, so 3-2 in their first 2 games, then get blown out 9-3. Two of their some of their Cleveland games get postponed. And then they lose all 3 of the ones that are left. One of them is an absolute blowout, 11-1. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely rough. Yeah, they're on like a 4-game losing streak, and
and one of
2 of
them
those
wasn't
games were
close, but like it
very
wasn't
bad
a blowout.
losses.
Like only one of those games in the last 4
So
was
it's
close.
definitely concerning.
Yeah, like if those other games for the Guardians weren't
It was like a
postponed,
really
they
like
would
a
have
tight
lost those
game,
two.
yeah.
I feel like without a doubt. And then looking at the Cubs, I
Yeah.
believe they have a similar scenario that they won a series to Milwaukee 5-4 and then 9-0, so a huge blowout against Milwaukee. But then they lose to them in a close game 5-4.
Yeah.
And then you look at some of these other games, Tampa Bay, they lose 8-2.
Yep.
They let Colorado get 9 points on the board against them. They let them get 9 runs in. It is crazy that some of their games they can, against the Rockies, they let the Rockies score 2 points or to get 2 runs in on their first game. Their last game, they let them get 9.
Yeah.
I think they just give up. They
6
win the first
and
game of the
9,
series for both of these teams, and then they just give up.
Yeah, it just seems like they
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
replicate success or like replicate their wins. And I mean that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, that's been an issue with the Cubs for a long time. Even in their, like World Series run, that was an issue where they go to like win the first game of a
Yeah.
series and then lose
They have
like
to
2 or 3 in
really
a row
push
and
for
have
it
to
at the
just
end.
reverse sweep to like actually win a series, which it's just putting them in such a bad position.
Yeah.
Like you would want, it's like if you're winning game 1, it's like it's understandable. If you know how to win, and it's like, yeah, it makes sense. The other team, they're playing for more. They're gonna have more passion. Like it's understandable if you lose. If you lose second or third game, but it's like, why does it go where it's like,
Yeah.
a good win in the first game, and then at the end they're getting blown out? It makes no sense to
Yeah.
me. It like you said, it just seems like
I
they're like,
feel
oh
like they
wow, yeah,
also
we won
just
the first
don't
game, it's whatever,
adapt.
and they just don't try as hard.
Like if a team figures them out in the last, especially in the last game of a series, they just are like, oh, they figured us out. Let's just keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, no, they get complacent, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, they're like,
both of these teams are
whatever.
playing today.
I guess they win. And it's just like, oh, okay.
The Cubs are going against the
It's
Pirates.
crazy.
The Pirates have beaten them in a close game, so I can see.
Yeah,
I can see them going either way. Yeah, definitely. But
yeah, it can go either way.
the
Definitely.
White Sox are going against. Hold on here. The Twins.
They're going against the Twins.
They're 5-8.
I would
Yeah,
think
I would
they
think
can
so.
win that game.
I think they can get this series.
That good. Yeah, it can go.
But like even
yeah, I definitely think they can win. Like they should win the series. I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's White Sox game 1 in the series, so it's guaranteed win
for sure.
But then last game of the series, they're just getting blown out 50-0.
Because like both of these teams just kind of give up.
Yeah, no, it's just tough. They're not consistent. Yeah, I mean, you put like a good team, like what, like the Mets or the Dodgers, right? And you're like, you can confidently say like, yeah, they should win this series. Like 90% of the time, like they're gonna win this series. If there's a fluke or like they're gonna be close games at least.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at like the Sox or Cubs, right? And you're like, I don't know if they're gonna win the series. Like, yeah, they should. Like the Sox should win the series. But it's like you can't just be like, oh yeah, they're gonna win 90% of the time. Where it's like, no, it's like, it feels like all their series are just 50-50s. Are they gonna win or lose? It just depends. Like they're just trying or
kind
not.
of weird. Push the fact that I do not blame the Sox for losing their series against the Guardians because the Guardians are a very good team, but they should not have been blown out 11-1 in one of their games. Especially for when they're paying 140 million for their payroll. They're paying 50 million less than the White Sox, and they're 7-5 right now and are blowing out the White Sox. So
it is concerning. I do agree. Like, it's weird. I mean, I hope they can get it back on track.
Yeah.
I'm a Cubs fan, but I like that when both teams are doing well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Sox hater. So, like, I want them to do well. But yeah, like, I don't know what they need to do. If they just need to, if their coaches need to put some fire under the players' asses, get them to keep trying. If they need to switch up their strategy in these longer series, like, I don't know what they need to do.
Both teams are playoff material, 100%. But they are going to go out early, especially if they continue to play the way they have.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, still very early season, right? We're like not even a tenth of the way done, or like a tenth of the way done. So it's like there's still a lot to be played. So this is definitely something we can always come back and revisit. See, is this trend continuing? Is this have they changed things? Has one team seen more success? So that's like something that I'm excited to watch, I guess, and see how it unfolds. But I am concerned that they're not.
Yeah, me too.
They're not consistent. Like, I really do hope it changes around. It's obviously
because
it's fun when our home teams are doing well, and it just sucks to see
better. Especially
the inconsistency.
I was expecting the White Sox to be doing much better than the Cubs are right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. The White Sox are coming off a good season. I thought they were going to be, like, very, very clear top of their division, or very, very competitive.
Look at them. They were playoffs.
I think Guardians are in their division.
Eliminated like round 1, but they still made it. And then they come in the off season and they trade for players from like the Dodgers and stuff. And they're doing the way they are.
Yeah, like,
it's like, and
arguably a better team. Yeah, arguably a better team.
They could definitely,
I mean, we still have to see how it unfolds, but I thought they were going to be more dominant.
Yeah,
I thought they would be as dominant
of this,
as
even in
the Dodgers,
training.
like,
I
in their own
maybe
division.
It would change within like the first week of normal season. But like, they went 9-10 in spring training.
Spring training doesn't have that like as much.
And then the Cubs went 11-8-3.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't really matter, but you can still kind of get that glimpse of kind of what they look like. And the Cubs looked better in spring training. Getting, being plus in the win-loss margin. Somehow getting 3 ties. I don't know how they did it, but they did. But yeah, it's crazy. I think they could both potentially, pick it up in the mid to late season, especially because these seasons are majority like you play the same teams just over and over and over again. So I think they might be able to figure out what these other teams are like. But the problem is we've seen the glimpse of them struggling to adapt already. So if these teams are going against them over and over again, they already know what they're like and it could just sweep the Chicago teams as well. Yeah, it's
definitely going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. Like I said, I hope they do well. But if they can't fix these
hard season for them
adaptation issues, consistency issues, it's going to be rough.
What they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, just taking a quick glimpse at the standings, like most of these teams, there's only 2 or 3 teams that are clearly better, and then most of the other, and 2 or 3 teams that are clearly not good at all. But like the majority, the other 20 teams are all very, very similar.
Yeah, I see.
Like, very, very closely. Like it's going to be very competitive, So it's like getting a small advantage is going to go a huge way.
Yeah,
in
the AL
chipping away at all these teams
Central
that are very,
very
equally as good
contested right
as each
now. The Guardians leading 7-5. I was expecting the White Sox to be above them. I was expecting them to be like 8-4. And the NL Central, the Cubs are way lower than I thought they were going to be. Yeah, I was expecting Brewers.
I thought the Cubs would be at like 2 right now. I thought they would have another game or 2 up.
Yeah, and then I mean, the Brewers also have one more game under their belt than the Cardinals, so like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to say who's top, and they're pretty much. But even like, even this is like a very tight division. Other than the Reds are. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like this season, it's looking like a lot of these teams are just very good. Like almost pretty much any team can beat any team. And so it's like if the Cubs and Sox can't find some way to get an edge in these series, win the 2 of the 3 games, start winning series, it's going to be really tough, right? If they just get caught in this inconsistency rhythm, like they might not even get a playoff spot, right? If they keep playing like this, they're just going to stay.
It's
pretty
early
much dead
to
middle of the pack.
Like, looking at
and
the
it's
Guardians,
rough. Like they need to find a way to get advantages.
Look at what the Guardians got a win against the Royals. They tied the series against the Royals, and one of the games they won 17-3. So like the Guardians are again $50 million less on their payroll, and are blowing out teams in their league 11-1, 17-3. So like, again, they're going against the Sox are going against the Guardians multiple times, especially because they're in the same conference. So they have to adapt.
Oh yeah,
they cannot
exactly.
just
they probably
keep
have
doing the same thing expecting to win. And then next season comes around.
Yeah.
They still are at 193 million, and it's like, how much cap space do you have left? How much money do you have left?
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, if they end the season and they're not, a playoff team, it's like, what do you do now, right? Like it's going to be way harder for them to try to even rebuild or do any changes. It's going to be a lot harder. For
that's
them
all I have for the
a lot of
subject.
these
Is there
other
anything
teams.
else you really need to or want to go on?
No, I think we touched on everything pretty good. Thank you to everybody who listened this far.
Sonic 2
for the
and
second episode, Spectated podcast, the Sonic 2 episode. Thank you, Crash, for coming on the show. Yeah, the Sonic
other
2
things as well.
Sonic 2 title, big
Crash,
dot.
But thank you.
Other things. Thank you, Crash, obviously, for coming on.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week. We will be talking about round 1 of the NBA playoffs and talking about multiple different topics. I know. It's going to be a good one.
Oh, I am so excited for that. I have so much to talk about.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody.